Okay, so this is the rear of the aircraft. You can still see the numbers. It's a 219 and 987 on the back. Fuselage. You can see some numbering there, which also tells us this is a P-39. See, partial blue star, it looks like. Again, part of the center fuselage. So the engine is standing on a wing right now. You can see another wing extending over there. The wing comes back to here. This is the cockpit. This is where the pilot would have been sitting. This is where his controls would be.
Francis, may you rest in peace, sir. You gave the ultimate sacrifice for this great country. It was a pleasure assisting in bringing you home. Oddly, I was standing within 2 meters of you just a short 4 months prior to you being excavated. A long time awaited, but now this true American hero is home. May he rest in peace with his fallen brothers. Thank you again, Jeremy Barty, Staff Sergeant, United States Marine Corps.
You know, they sent out planes for 3 days trying to find him. And they knew where you were at, but you're in triple canopy jungle. You don't look down and see a plane. So he's up against a tree, and I'm sure he said a prayer. You know, it's a tradition that a pilot, when he gets his wings, he breaks his first set of wings. And he gives one half to his loved one, and he keeps the other half. And when Francis' personal effects was sent back to his wife, there was a full set of wings sent back to her. He never broke his wings in half. So when his remains were found, there was a set of wings found with his remains, with his survival equipment, and the wings were broken in half. So I'm thinking, well, maybe Francis sat there and he sent a message to Sylvia and broke his wings in half. And he held his wings in the palm of his hand. And just as a silent message to Sylvia, you're not forgotten.
When I think back on 100 years of history for our squadron, for combat aviation in general, I think a lot about the people that we've lost, and particularly about the people who are still out there. We have a whole hallway that we call our POW MIA hallway, where we have up on the board, up on various walls there, the names and as much information as we have about the 36 Fighter Squadron members who are still out there, whose remains have not been recovered. I want folks out there who are the family members of these fiends, these Americans who are still missing, to know that we haven't forgotten about them. And I want you to know that every time we tell these stories, that when we reflect on our history, when we wear our patches and we see the symbols of our squadron, we think of those airmen that are still out there. I think about Jimmy Escal, who participated in the biggest counteroffensive that we as a squadron participated in June 1953. And 3 days later, he crashed, and he is still out there. Jimmy Escal was flying an F-86 with red diagonal stripes on it that was the symbol for our fighter squadron. And we still fly airplanes with those red stripes today. Our Centennial aircraft has the same diagonal red stripes. We have the same figures on our squadron patches, those symbols that we identify with the squadron, with our time here, with the friends that we've made here, with the relationships that we have, they also remind us of those people that we've lost. Every time I see those red stripes, I think about Jimmy Escal and how he's still out there somewhere in this country, probably right next to his F-86 tail that has those red diagonal stripes. And every time I walk upstairs through our POW MIA hallway, I see those 100 names on the wall of fiends that haven't made it back yet. So many of them, like James Moss and Jimmy Escal, that have heroic stories behind them that are very inspiring. They inspire me every day to do our mission and to do it well and bring everybody home. Francis Pitniak, he was flying a P-39 in 1942, and he was lost in bad weather and presumed crash, but his remains were not recovered until just a few months ago. And so that was one of the most meaningful experiences that we've had here, is that we were able to take his name tag off of the wall and retire it now that he has been brought home to his family.